What's good, everybody? Welcome back to more DCC Wrestling. Today's video, we are going to be discussing WWE Draft, giving our predictions for the upcoming draft. As of this recording, the draft takes place this Friday on SmackDown. We just had Monday Night Raw just passed yesterday. And we have the introduction of a new World Heavyweight Championship. Kind of throw a wrench in our plans when discussing this draft prediction. Originally, we thought that they weren't going to make a new championship. I mean, we know it's been in the works for a while, but that's where I have a problem with this championship being debuted. You are just like a wait and see approach and see what happens, which I understand completely. But now it begs the question of why didn't they right decision at WrestleMania if this was the original get go to have separate champions, separate brands. So now, in my opinion, it makes this whoever wins this championship the runner up pretty much to Roman. It's like you couldn't beat Roman, so here's this championship. So you can compete for this to call yourself the world champ. I don't know, that's how I feel. What about you?
I mean, it does have like a little bit of that, what you're saying. But I mean, I think it's just the opportunity just to get another world champion on the show and just be there every week. You know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously Roman Reigns has been on top for 3 years straight now. Nobody's been able to beat him, but it is what it is. I'm in the camp, but let's see where it goes. I mean, I kind of like the title, new world heavyweight title. Let's see what happens, man. Honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the stance. It's just I feel like if this was, I just feel like if this was the original plan from the start,
I don't think it was.
and so you just think they just brought this up out of nowhere because the draft was coming.
No, I mean, I do know that they were looking to design a new championship. But I think initially, like you were talking yesterday, initially there was supposed to be a splitting of the titles. I think Survivor Series, I think the plan was to do a ladder match with Roman and I think Seth or something like that, and then one of them grabbed one title and one of them grabbed the other title. But Cody had gotten hurt, so they couldn't really shoe in that other match. You know what I'm saying? Cody got hurt, and then they did War Games. So I mean, because the potential matches were I think Drew McIntyre versus either Cody or Cody versus Seth for one title, and then I don't know if they were going to do The Rock versus Roman Reigns for the other title. I think that was the plan initially. So they just did the War Games and kept going with the Roman Reigns as the champ. Which I mean, ain't nothing wrong with that. I mean, so, there may be people out there like you, like they were just like, okay, here's a consolation prize. I see it that way. Which I mean, you can see it that way. I'm not saying you can't. It's just at this point, I mean, Roman's been the champ for how long? You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's been noticeable pushes. Like people like Karrion Kross or Gunther and stuff like that, where they can't even get to that level of being, you know what I mean? Like even being in the world championship picture because you got this dominant heel on top, and he's just, you know what I'm saying? Like ain't nobody able to beat him, and they ain't gonna do heel versus heel matches. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's already gonna beat pretty much every good guy there is to beat. You know what I'm saying? Probably besides Bobby Lashley. So it's only so. I mean, so kind of like the introduction of the World Heavyweight Championship. And I do think down the line, as we'll get into it, I do think Roman will lose the title in the summer.
Yeah, I just feel like
But My bad. But they do want. I think they do want him to get to that 1,000-day mark. You know what I mean? So that's
Yeah,
probably why.
but you sacrificed a moment at WrestleMania to where you could have made someone who's capable of carrying that mantle after Roman takes his break or hiatus after Mania, and a 4-time star, Cody Rhodes, and someone who's capable of carrying the company. In my opinion, I believe he can. You can look at his promos, and you can just look at his Monty, just the way he carries himself. That can let you know that alone he can carry the company, take over as a good suitable replacement for Roman.
Mm-hmm.
And now with this new championship, it throws everything off in terms of like our predictions for the draft, because now I can see Cody just ending up on SmackDown because the story with him and Roman isn't finished. And
Not a bad thing though, right?
no, it's not a bad thing. But I had him going to Raw. Like I'd be like, okay, he's a pillar. Like he's the top face, the top guy on Raw, and Roman's the top guy on SmackDown. Then you have them come together at either SummerSlam or something like that, where Cody takes the belts. Then you split the championships. Then Cody holds one, and then it's a tournament for the next one after Roman is gone for however long he's going to be gone for.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could have did this at WrestleMania if you knew that we have an upcoming draft and there needed to be a champion for each brand. We could have had Cody win at Mania, and then have them split the titles after that. Bring out the new championship designs, and then just have a tournament like we have now for the new championship. But you still call it either you don't call it a Universal, you can call it the World Heavyweight Championship. It's just a suitable replacement for the Universal title because
Can I ask you a question?
lineage.
Can I ask you a question though? Like, I hear what you're saying, but do you think that's like really fair for Cody? You know what I mean? Like say he did win at WrestleMania, right? And what you're saying is, okay, if that was the plan, had him just when he won the title, have him just drop one of them, basically, right? And then you just come out with a new champion. I don't think that would be fair.
Yeah, I mean, I've crossed that possibility of it not being fair, but at some point we gotta have two separate championships for two separate brands if we're gonna do that. If we're not gonna have one title to where the top guy who holds the championship floats between shows, then if we're gonna do this whole split brand thing with two separate championships, you have to get rid of one and put one on the other show and have the other one on the other show. And Cody's story is with the WWE Championship, which is the one his father held that he didn't really hold, and he was going to be the first road to win that championship. His story is with the WWE Championship, not the Universal title.
That's what we get into, though. I think at whatever point Roman does lose the titles, I don't think those two titles merge into one title. Now they may reshape it to be the Wing Eagle. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? So we can still kind of get our wish. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, that's what we're getting now. So that's why I say, man, just let it play out. You know what I'm saying? Or they could have not done that, and we could have still just had one world champion. You know what I'm saying? Then I mean, people be still in an uproar about it. Just let it play out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're gonna feel how you feel about it regardless. Just let it play out. You know?
Yeah. I mean, we'll see, man. I just feel like that was the wrong decision. Now we have a new championship that don't have lineage, and the person who holds it first ever.
It kind of does still have lineage, though. It's still the World Heavyweight title. Why not?
I would have rather them have. I would have rather them have like the original Big Gold, but I know they have to have the logo imprinted in the WWE a new championship, so I understand that. But
yeah,
I would rather have it been Big Gold as opposed to Big Gold mixed with the logo, but I understand. So I mean, I guess if you're looking at it in that lens, it has lineage. I don't know, but we'll see. Getting of course, we're going to go over the list of champions currently before this draft takes place. So we have Roman Reigns holding the WWE Undisputed Universal Heavyweight Championship. We have Austin Theory as the United States Champion, and we have Gunther as the Intercontinental Champion. We have Rhea Ripley as the SmackDown Women's Champion, Bianca Belair as the Raw Women's Champion, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn as the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Champions, and Liv Morgan and Rodriguez as the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. Let's get started with SmackDown. So, superstars we think will go from Raw to SmackDown or NXT to SmackDown. I think we pretty much agreed on most of them, right?
Yeah. Okay, I mean, you can.
SmackDown's number one pick is pretty obvious, right? So let's roll the superstar. And the first pick that SmackDown has is the same pick they had in the last time's draft, and that is the current WWE Universal Undisputed Heavyweight Champion, the Tribal Chief, the head of the table, Roman Reigns, currently holding a 940-day plus reign champion. He's going to be the first person to go or to stay on SmackDown. He's the number one pick in all of WWE because he's the top guy in that company. It's a no-brainer, right? When you say. So with our first pick for Monday Night Raw, I'm gonna stick to my guns here, and I'm gonna take. Well, I'm talking like I don't know damn G, but I believe Cody Rhodes will be the first pick for Monday Night Raw. I'm gonna tell you why. So we know that the introduction of this World Heavyweight Championship, right? I don't think Cody's going to win the championship at all. We know his story is with the main WWE Championship that Roman Reigns currently holds, right? So I can see a direction. This is a this is a half possibility, half not. So I can see a possibility of WWE holding this off the story with Roman and Cody to where either Cody wins Money in the Bank and tells he's going to cash in at SummerSlam, or do you have him win another Royal Rumble match and choose Roman again for the WrestleMania rematch? That's the only two possibilities I can see for him staying on Monday Night Raw. Because if you make him go to SmackDown, do their build last all the way up into SummerSlam? SummerSlam's a long way away from now. So that's the only two possibilities I can see with Cody staying on Raw, is keep them too far enough apart to where Cody either wins Money in the Bank or he wins the Rumble again and then challenges Roman that way. So either way, we're gonna get a match with him and Roman at SummerSlam or a match with him and Roman at WrestleMania next year. That's the only reason I can see Cody going back to Monday Night Raw, is to keep him away from Roman. What you think about that?
I didn't think about it. It's a good thought. I just don't know if Cody is a guy that needs the Money in the Bank. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I understand that, but you know how some people.
I can see your point of view of it, but I think, okay, I do believe Cody is the guy that's going to beat Roman Reigns, right? take the title off of Roman at SummerSlam, hopefully. But I still think there's a way you can get there. I mean, Roman's going to be busy with looking like Nakamura coming up for the Saudi show. And right now, I mean, Cody's still in the program with Brock, so their program may not be just one match. You know what I mean? So after the draft, Brock Lesnar, I don't think Brock Lesnar is eligible to be drafted. He just flops wherever he wants to go. So if you have Cody join the same roster as Roman, you still have you can still continue the program with Brock, and then eventually you're going to have to get to him and solo Sikoa again. Cody going to have to get to Sikoa again to eventually fight Roman again. You know what I'm saying? So you can still it's a way you can still do it. I mean, I'm not opposed to the way you were talking about him winning Money in the Bank. I just feel like that can go to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Cody needs something like that. And I think waiting for the Royal Rumble would be just too long after just, the heart punch you got at WrestleMania with him losing. You know what I mean? I think SummerSlam has to be the spot. So I wouldn't do the Royal Rumble thing. Money in the Bank seems intriguing, but I just don't think Cody Rhodes needs it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he needed to, but that's like the only.
I
Like,
mean, but it's a big show. It's a big show, and I mean, he was the poster head for it last year. He just wasn't able to be there. So who knows? I mean, they could go to Raw or Money in the Bank. I like LA Knight for Money in the Bank. I'm not saying he'll be the world champion or anything, but just as far as entertaining, somebody like his kind of character. You know what I'm saying? Cody's the American. It's like it was like John. If he wins, it's like John Cena winning. Like how John Cena won Money in the Bank. It'll be kind of like that, sort of, kind of, because I mean, Cody's the ultimate baby face, right? He's playing the part of Hulk Hogan and John Cena, the American hero type thing. So I don't think he needs to win Money in the Bank, but I wouldn't be opposed to it. I just wouldn't do it. If that makes sense.
I mean, I just don't see no other creatively ways to get to that match if they on separate shows. So the only way you can draft Cody to Raw is
I think
with those possibilities.
I think now with the World Heavyweight Title being introduced, I do think we're getting that. I think Cody is moving to SmackDown, but I could be wrong. Just because of the wrench we got yesterday, I would have said no, but I didn't know we were getting 2 world titles. You know what I'm saying? So I don't ever think Cody's going to be in the Night of Champions tournament. I think he's still going to be dealing with Brock Lesnar, because Brock is going to be on the Saudi show too. So we may get a false finish in Backlash. Maybe a street fight or something. I don't know.
All right, let's go to our next pick. Next pick we got going to SmackDown, or staying on SmackDown, is Gunther, the current Intercontinental Champion, along with Imperium. I think just him on SmackDown, he's had a great run. I mean, I can see you switching him in theory, but I think with the way we have this draft set up in our predictions, it works in Gunther's favor to keep him on SmackDown and Theory's favor to keep him on Raw. I'll tell you about that later. So we got Imperium staying on SmackDown. Good move, I think.
It depends.
I know you had some objections to that.
Yeah, it just depends what you do with Seth Rollins. If you know what I mean, like if Seth Rollins and Bobby Lashley and them are still, and Austin Theory are on the same roster, I think you just swap those two. I think you swap Gunther, and because I mean, Gunther's pretty much beating everybody on, like on SmackDown, right? He's beaten pretty much every guy to beat besides Roman Reigns, haven't he? I mean, I think so, at least. So I mean, obviously Drew McIntyre's gonna be there, but he's gonna be a heel, and he's already beaten Drew. So I would swap. I would swap Austin Theory and Gunther, just to move the championships, because I think the Intercontinental title has been on SmackDown for 3 years, maybe. I don't know, since probably the COVID era or something. Correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I do think it's time to swap them, especially if you're gonna keep Lashley and those guys on Raw. Then you get Gunther, a whole new crop of guys to work with, and you got big heavy guys trying to go against Gunther. I could see that. I like that. I like that possibility. I do think if this is changing the game, like Triple H is gonna say, this is quote unquote gonna do that.
It's funny that you bring up Seth Rollins, right? Because in my next pick, and then I've got him going to SmackDown as well. I think Seth needs a fresh coat of paint. He's been on Raw for about 2 years now, right? He's done everything he can do on Monday Night Raw, and I think only thing I can see with him going to SmackDown is he can feud with both champions, because he still got unfinished business with Roman. I don't think you want to drop the titles to Seth, Roman. And I think he can have some great matches with Gunther. So that's why I'm keeping Gunther on SmackDown. One particular reason is Seth Rollins, because you want to get Seth Rollins as far away from Austin Theory as you possibly can. I think Bobby Lashley will manage on Monday Night Raw. That's why I didn't move him from the red brand to the blue brand. So I think you want to keep him away from Roman as much as possible, so he won't be another guy that Roman beats. Roman's not losing the title. And what you think about that?
I like it. I just would disagree. Just because I just moved Gunther to Raw and swap Austin Theory, so that way Seth stay. I mean, you still get the matchup you want with Gunther and Rollins. I do think Rollins is staying on Raw just with the fact I know we know Roman Reigns is going to stay on SmackDown, right? At least in my perfect world, I would think so. So what Triple H said last night that he gonna take the titles with him, and now we got this new world title. You're gonna have Seth Rollins competing for the world heavyweight title, right? Wouldn't you agree? Okay, so that's why I would keep him on Raw, just for that simple fact. And then you got a reason for Gunther, and that's what I would do, man. Just do everything you did, but just swap the mid card titles. That way Austin Theory's still away from Rollins, right? And Lashley. And then you still getting Gunther versus Rollins and Lashley. So I would keep him and Becky, because they're married couple, on Raw. That's where I would go with it. So that's my prediction. That's why I think Rollins will stand on Raw. When we planned this out, we didn't know that they were throwing this monkey wrench. You know what I mean? So we're doing a little bit of this on the fly, but we still agree on most stuff. But I would just personally keep Rollins on Raw. And we still get no stellar matchups.
Yeah. And then obviously we have to make Becky Lynch go to SmackDown as well, because Seth's there. So SmackDown is getting yet another superstar, top superstar, coming from Raw to SmackDown in that form of Becky Lynch. I think it's a good move, and the reason we did this move is for later on. So obviously the Seth factor comes into play there. But I think Becky needs to be away from Bianca for a while and has something new to do. Face somebody on SmackDown. I don't think she had no program with Rhea yet. So that's a potential program you can work into after Becky's feud with Trish. So we can get that sometime in the fall, after SummerSlam, whatever. So I think that's a good move for Becky. Anything you want to add, or you good? Now, the next person I have going from the red brand to the blue brand is Mia Yim. And Mia Yim has been underutilized since she's been back pretty much for the most part. She's 90% of pins. Seemed like a theme when it comes to Triple H's booking so far since he took over for Vince. The women just don't have nothing. No good stories, really. They're going to have some good matches like we got at WrestleMania, yeah, but we gotta have better stories built around these women, and we need to have some of these women play a more vital role than what they are. Stop having the same shit over and over. But she's been with AJ Styles now since AJ broke his ankle. She's been directionless. The Drip Brothers don't be on TV because they have it in a contract to where if they're not gonna be used, they're not showing up to TV. So she's been by herself and she's been losing. I think the last match she lost was the last match I can remember, the triple threat number one contenders match, right? So yeah, I think moving her from Raw to SmackDown would do her some good. And another person I think will be split up or moved from the red brand to the blue brand. I think you disagree with me on this, but I'm gonna throw it out there anyway. Angelo Dawkins from the Street Profits. Now, I don't think we're going to get a heel turn like you propose they should do. I think we're just going to do like a similar thing, like where how the Dudley Boys get broke up in the draft. They were still baby faces at the time, and they just went on separate paths. Because at this point, Street Profits have been together since they've been in NXT. And they've done almost everything they can do. They're with almost all the tag teams at this point. And you have to see what you have in Montez Ford, right? You got to see if he gets it, if he can carry the mantle by himself. I don't think Angelo Dawkins would be. He's pretty good. This is the time to strike now. It's been rumored for the last couple drafts that they want to split them up. They didn't split them up. And Monday they just threw them together in a segment that Vince just put in probably a couple minutes before the show started. You can tell because Montez was in fucking sweatpants. So I think they split the Street Profits up in this draft. I think Angelo goes from Raw to SmackDown, and Montez stays on Raw with Bianca, obviously. And we're going to see what we have in these two. What do you say about that?
I would not split them up just because of the simple fact that I have a couple tag teams coming from NXT to the main roster, and I do think the tag team division is lacking. So I would personally keep them as a tag team, and you can probably get, I do think we getting the DIY reunion, DIY and Street Profits. There's another team from NXT I threw in that you don't know about yet, but we'll get there. Um, I don't know who else is a good tag team. I just want to split them up. Not right now. I think there's more heat in Montez Ford heel turn, him turning on Dawkins, and then you can do the eventual match there, and then go from there. And then you can eventually split them up once they, go to separate ways and give them something to do. I mean, if you just split them up in the draft, Angelo Dawkins he's fucked pretty much. I mean, I think I ain't gonna say he's fucked pretty much either way, but if you just split him up randomly in the draft, I think he's fucked because he'd be directionless. I mean, and their sole focus would be on Montez Ford. What about getting them doing a heel turn, and you could perhaps make two new stars? What if we get a heel Angelo Dawkins? He's already pissed. He's already pissed off about people calling him the Genetti. He's made it known. So we don't know. We don't know what the guy can do. Maybe he can do something different as a heel. We don't know. We just have to see. Everybody knows Montez Ford is the star or whatever, but you never know.
I mean, I think he can be a heel on the other brand as well, but I just want to have them turn on each other, because somewhere down the line, if it don't work, you can still put them two back together. Like nothing never happened. You know what
I mean, yeah, but there's been there's been countless times where tag team partners turn on each other and they came back to be a tag team. I mean, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens did it twice already, right?
Yeah, but I think it's a huge difference between Street Profits and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. There's a huge difference. They were both single stars. This is the first time that either one, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, would be a single star.
What about Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins?
Yet again, another single. Both of them were single stars at a point in time, right? And FCW, they had a name built on the Indies beforehand. Like these guys you bringing up had names already.
Yeah, that's but I'm talking about the WWE specifically, or Edge and Christian, or Matt and Jeff Hardy.
I guess.
I mean, they did a whole freaking thing where, even though they were brothers, they were, Matt burned down Jeff's house or whatnot with his dog inside, and they still became tag team partners again. I mean, they're brothers. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying, you can do stuff like that.
I mean, I guess, man. But I just wouldn't turn. I just wouldn't turn them against each other. Just because, you might need some down.
We just gotta agree to disagree.
The next pick,
I'm
going to make the Nigerian Giant move from Raw to SmackDown, because he's been on Raw since he's been on the main roster, way back in the Raw Underground days. So he need, if anybody needs something new, he need to get off this brand and move to another brand. So he's in a match with Seth Rollins. He's going to lose. No matter, I don't care what no one says. He's going to lose. Every big match he's in, he loses. I don't care about how they try to build him or nothing, but he got to start winning something. If they feel like they got something in him, he need to start winning. But we need to move him from Monday Night Raw to SmackDown. MVP comes along with him, so you can have his mouthpiece with him. He could potentially do something with some other new characters, with some new wrestlers on the Blue brand. I think he needs a facelift from Monday Night Raw, so I will move him to SmackDown. Like that pick?
Sure. I don't think it's gonna make a difference.
I mean, I don't either, but he needs something. He needs something fresh. He needs to get off Monday Night Raw. He's been there for a long time.
Okay.
Next pick, we have, this is pretty much of an obvious one to me. We have the whole Judgment Day faction following Rhea Ripley over Friday Night SmackDown. Damian Priest, Finn Balor, Dominic will all be on SmackDown with Rhea. We cannot break up the Judgment Day. I wouldn't break them up. I feel like they are far greater as a unit as opposed to being singles stars. So I will keep the Judgment Day intact. Like this move. Next person I will have come from the red brand to the blue brand. I will have the Miz move from the red brand to the blue brand. I feel like Miz is always the one who gets moved in these drafts every year from brand to brand. He never stays at a brand consecutive years. So this is like a no-brainer. You just need somebody with a mouthpiece on Monday Night Raw. So from me on SmackDown. So I will move Miz to Raw, SmackDown. That's for later on too as well. Since we have the whole Bray Wyatt fiasco, we don't know what's going on. We don't know when he's going to come back. He's been off television for a while, since what, February, right? We about to be in fucking May. Well, we about to be in May, and he came back. So this next pick, it's pretty much based on them where they're going with the storyline, and I picked Alexa Bliss to move from Raw to SmackDown. Just if they don't go this direction with Bray and Alexa, me personally, I would not. I like Alexa as her own entity by herself. I like the goddess character more than I like this Fiend Alexa Bliss thing that they be doing. I wish they drop it, but I don't feel like they will not drop it. They're gonna just keep it going. So that's why I had her move all to SmackDown. And she just needs something to do. So you would rather have her feud with somebody like Rhea Ripley. If she's gonna be a babyface, I have her feud with somebody like Rhea Ripley. That'll give Rhea some more competition to go against on SmackDown. How you feel about that?
Keep her and Bray Wyatt separate. That's what I'll do. But yeah.
I mean, I just felt that if this is where the direction WWE is going, might as well just put them on the same brand. Might as well. The draft has to be stamped to where people cannot move from brand to brand. Even though I think the champions, like the undisputed, like the undisputed champions, will move from brand to brand. They should flow from show to show. But people like them, if they're gonna have stories, need to be on the same brand. So I'll move her from Raw to SmackDown. Next person I think has to get moved away from Monday Night Raw, Bayley. She had her best success on SmackDown as the SmackDown Women's Champion during the pandemic. She was the MVP of the pandemic along with Sasha and Asuka. So moving her from Raw to SmackDown, breaking up Damage Control, because like I felt like Damage Control could have been greater than what it was. It was a colossal fail because they didn't build nothing around them. They failed the opportunity to do something with that group. And we have to break them up. Like I said back at the WrestleMania review, this is the time to break them up. Bayley moves from Raw to SmackDown. I will keep Io and Dakota on Monday. I feel like you can do stuff with it as a team with Io and Dakota, but you can have Io as the breakout star, and Bayley can do something on Raw. I mean on SmackDown. Maybe she need to get away from Bianca. So this is the main part of that. Also, a person that I had moving from Monday Night Raw to SmackDown, but it depends on the announcers or in this draft like they were previous years. I had Carmella moving from Monday Night Raw to SmackDown, but it depends on if Corey Graves is eligible to be moved in this draft. Because obviously, where Carmella goes, Corey's going to go, and vice versa. So if Corey stays on Raw, I believe Carmella will stay on Raw. But I just had her move from Raw to SmackDown. She's been gone since 2 or 3 weeks before WrestleMania. Haven't seen her since. Hope everything's cool. But yeah, I will have her move from Raw to SmackDown, just to add more competition to that SmackDown roster. Do you got any thoughts or no?
I think she stays put.
Alright, next pick I think should move from Raw to SmackDown is Dexter Lumis. Now I know this isn't like a sexy pick or like a pick just like groundbreaking or whatever, but I feel like in order to see what Dexter Lumis has, we have to move him away from Johnny Gargano. Let him be his own thing and see what we got in him. We can't just have him be just thumbs up or mute character. He at some point in time he's gonna have to speak and do something if we don't see what we got with him in the ring, stuff like that. So I moved him from Raw to SmackDown to see what we can. Like the move.
I think he stays put with Johnny Gargano and those guys.
The next pick I would do if I was running this is I know it's far fetched because he won't be healthy for a long time, but I know Triple H would have done something great with him since Triple H took him over creative. He's the one who brought him into NXT, and this is former NXT champion Robert Roode. I would have had him move from Raw to SmackDown just to get away from Dolph Ziggler, and let's see, man. Let's see the Bobby Roode from Impact carrying that Impact Championship. He was one of the best Impact World Heavyweight Championship they had in that whole company, and I felt like WWE wasted him when he got to the main roster. Granted, Triple H wasn't running it; it was Vince, but it's so much untapped potential there with Robert Roode. I know he's up there in age, but I'm a big Robert Roode fan, and I think he has a great look. He can work in the ring, and he can talk. So, I mean, that's another person we can have on a roster that can give us something. You know what I'm saying? But I know that he's injured, up there in age. Don't know when he'll be back, but I would assume he's ineligible for this draft. But if he were, I would move him from Raw to SmackDown. Like the move or no?
Keep him on Raw. Just because we got the world title, man. A lot of my picks are have a lot to do with the world title and who we got as the mid card champion. I think there's a lot. I mean, you can move Ziggler to SmackDown. That's fine. Who cares? Keep him separate. I'm with you there, but I would keep him on Raw. I feel like there's untapped potential there when he comes back, or if Cody does eventually beat Roman, you can throw him on SmackDown as well and have him be like a top heel on that brand. So just for that, okay, I agree with you. I'll go SmackDown. I'm thinking of it about like time frame when he does come back. I think when he does come back, Roman will probably be no longer the champ, and we do get Cody as a champ, and then we can probably get Robert or Bobby Roode, whatever they want to call him, back as a top 4 heel on the blue brand. It just really depends on what we get as the world champions, in my opinion.
The next pick I have, this guy he needs something. I mean, granted he just won, but it was a squash match. That's his first win, and I don't know how long. This next person we have is Mustafa Ali, moving from Monday Night Raw to Friday Night SmackDown. SmackDown is the place where Mustafa Ali got over. Now, as we all know, he would have won a champion match to face Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship, but he got hurt and Kofi Mania happened, so he didn't get that spot. But SmackDown's where he cut his teeth at, where he was over the most. Monday Night Raw, they have nothing creatively for him. I found it so weird that we have a 3-hour show on Monday nights and we can't find nothing creative for the amount of superstars we have, right? It's like we have all this talent, but yet we use the same fucking storylines over and over. Just rematches after rematches after rematches. So moving him from Raw to SmackDown would put another person in that Intercontinental title division to where he can be smashed by Gunther because he can work. So we can have Gunther smash him, a potential singles match, triple threat match with more mixed talent. So this would just be another body for Gunther to run through. Or you can put him in a tag team with somebody you find on the SmackDown roster, right? So I would have him move from Raw to SmackDown. All right, next pick we have is Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander. Now I made them move from Raw to SmackDown specifically because MVP is on SmackDown now with Omos. Now I know this ain't the original Hurt Business, but you got to do something with Shelton and Cedric at this point, man. You can't just have them just keep fucking standing and catering and come out on the squads that they did Monday and get beat by the Street Profits. Shelton and Cedric showed that they are a capable team. They got chemistry, and they are former tag team champions. So with a weakened tag team division that you have, put these two back in a prominent role in the tag team scene. Let them do something. Put them back with MVP. Put them with Omos. Have them as a Hurt Business 2.0. Something in that range. But do something with these guys. Don't just have them when it's convenient for a squash match to happen. If you're gonna do something with them, do something with them. So I will move them from Monday Night Raw to SmackDown, just so we can have another tag team on SmackDown. Anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Now, next person I have moving from Raw to SmackDown, simply because her partner is already on SmackDown, is Chelsea Green. I have Chelsea Green moving from Raw to SmackDown just because Sonya Deville is currently on SmackDown, and they are a tag team as of this moment. They just fought Kale and Liv on Friday night and lost. So you might as well just keep them on SmackDown. Better make one less trip Chelsea got to take to wherever city Monday Night Raw goes. So I will move her from Monday Night Raw to SmackDown. Yet bolster another team to that women's tag team division. Even though I like Carmella and Chelsea as a team better, but this is what we got. So I moved Chelsea from Raw to SmackDown. Now we're gonna get into our NXT superstars we have been moving from NXT to SmackDown, and we pretty much agreed on everybody. Pretty much. Our first picks we have are another tag team that is a true tag team from NXT, and I think that would be a good get for the division, and that is Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. They've been in NXT for a long time. They've been a tag team since they've been there, pretty much. They've shown that they have great chemistry. They are former NXT Women's Champions. So move them from NXT to SmackDown. You bolster that tag team division and have a legit tag team buy-in for those women's tag team champions. And we haven't had that since Peyton Royce and Billie Kay were the SmackDown were the women's tag team champions. That was the last legit team to be champions. Kaden Carter and Katana Chance has the potential to be next team that is a legit team to be SmackDown or to be the women's tag team champion.
Agree.
Stated earlier, just because you flip flop the mid card titles, you would have had the same moves as me, pretty much. But as purposes of this predictions, since we have Gunther and Imperium on SmackDown, this next person we have from NXT, he's very familiar with Gunther. He's had pretty much the best match of the year in 2017, 18, somewhere in that range with Gunther for the UK Championship. That's Tyler Bate. We have Tyler Bate moving from NXT to SmackDown. So that is yet another person who is familiar with Gunther and Imperium and who can have some banger matches. You know how great Tyler Bate is. I liked him as a tag team wrestler too in Mustache Mountain, but they let his tag team partner go a while ago. But this is a great move and a move that should happen. Tyler Bate do not need to be on NXT. I think he's far superseded NXT. So this is a great move to have Tyler Bate move from NXT to SmackDown.
Initially, I did have him going to SmackDown, but since I predicted that we're going to get Gunther and Austin Theory swapped on different brands, I'm going to put him on Monday Night Raw. Just because I have Gunther and Imperium there. I do believe that he needs to go wherever Imperium is, just so people, the audience of the main roster can get accustomed to who Tyler Bate is. And him working with the guys he's comfortable working with can get him there. And then plus you still have Gargano there. You still have Ciampa there. Who else he's worked with? him and Chad Gable can be a really good match. Him and Dolph Ziggler just had a good match on main event, I think last week. So I would put him on Monday Night Raw. There's also some more additions. We get into it that I would put on Monday Night Raw just based on how I have it set up for my part of the prediction. But you can continue.
Okay. I mean, you just agreed. Just you have yours flip flop, like you had your mid carders flipped.
And then and who would want to see Tyler Bate and Seth Rollins, right? That'd be a pretty good match, right?
Indeed it would. Indeed it would. Now finishing up our NXT picks, going from NXT to SmackDown. We had Mako Satomura. Now I think this is a tricky pick because I think Mako is probably satisfied with staying in NXT and training some of those young women down there and getting them ready and prepared for NXT in the main roster. So I can see her staying in NXT, but I think this would be a move. Me personally, I would like. She's another woman that you can add to that roster. Legitimate former NXT UK champion. The legitimacy there is don't need to talk about it. Veteran knows what she needs to do, and I think this would be a great move for
yeah. I think it'd be a good opportunity for her to work different matches with different, you know what I mean, like the big level talent. I mean, I know Sasha Banks wanted to work with her. We may not ever get to see that, but before Mako leaves, I feel like we do need to get an opportunity to see her wrestle on the main roster, especially with Triple H. You know, he's not. He'll book people. Like EO. Their English isn't probably really that good. Let them talk in the ring. That makes sense. So I hopefully, if that's something she wants to do, even if it's part time, let her come up to the main roster and let's get the ball rolling on some of those matches. I mean, Mako and Rhea, Mako and Bianca, Mako and Charlotte. You know, sounds pretty good to me. I would love to see it.
Yeah, me too. And we have the whole former next pick. We have the former Diamond Mine team. I don't even know if they call it Diamond Mine anymore, but I have the Creed brothers moving from NXT to SmackDown, along with Ivy now moving from NXT to SmackDown. This is yet another tag team that you can bring up from NXT that is ready to be on the main roster and that is legitimate. And they can offer so much more to the tag team division on SmackDown. So if we're gonna go this route of having Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn flip from show to show, and we can get some banger matches out of the Creed brothers. So move them up to the main roster and put them on SmackDown along with Ivy now, so she don't be like alone and she has familiar faces that are with her on the next brand. So I will move all three of them up to SmackDown.
I do agree that the Creed brothers are moving, but I do not agree that Ivy now is moving with them. Just because I think it'll probably be another Legado del Fantasma situation where they had Elektra Lopez with them. They kept her down to NXT because I just don't think Ivy Noel's ready for the main roster. I think she needs a little bit more grooming. So he has a tremendous look. Don't get me wrong. I just think she needs a little bit more tune-up as far as the in-ring go and the on-screen goes. So I do think the Creed brothers may come up. I mean, even the Creed brothers, they're great, but they still need a little tune-up too. But them working on the main roster with veterans can get them better. So I have them going to I had them going to Monday Night Raw. Initially, SmackDown had more tag teams than Monday Night Raw, so I was bolstering up the Monday Night Raw tag team division too. So I had them going to Monday Night Raw. But we do agree on the aspect of them. I do think they need to be called up. I mean, there's not much for them to do in NXT. They've already been tag team champions. There's only so much more you can go from there.
All right. And I failed to mention one omission that we both had going from Raw to SmackDown. We haven't seen her since WrestleMania, and that is Asuka. Now, Asuka needs to move from Raw to SmackDown to get away from Bianca and possibly go into something with Rhea down the line. So we're going to move Asuka from Raw to SmackDown. And in my WrestleMania predictions, I predicted Asuka to win. It's crazy to believe that she is 0-6 at WrestleMania. Can you believe Asuka is 0-6 at WrestleMania, bro? That's crazy to me. Woman who went undefeated for almost what? She had, what was her streak? Close to Goldberg's streak. I think she might have broke Goldberg. But for her to go undefeated and be as but great as she was around that time, and even coming up on the main roster, it seems like it's been all, I won't say all downhill, but mostly downhill since she lost to Charlotte at WrestleMania 34. Just saying. But Asuka needs to move from Raw to SmackDown so we can have another top talent for Rhea to feud with down the line. That will do it for all our picks on SmackDown. What you say?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to focus on Monday Night Raw now. And the superstar we had moving from SmackDown to Monday Night Raw, we had the team of, well, we already said Cody was moving. We already said Cody was the first pick for Monday Night Raw, and I think we both want to stamp that here. But the fucking monkey wrench through the World Heavyweight Championship with the monkey wrench in the plan. I'm going to stick to my guns with the proposal, with the ideas I proposed earlier. So, first pick stays Cody Rhodes. So, our next pick we had coming from SmackDown to Monday Night Raw is the team of Los Lotharios. Now, we haven't seen these guys. I couldn't tell you the last time I saw them. What about you?
Been a while.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you, but I feel like Humberto and Angel Garza has some of the team, and we need to bolster this tag team division. Stop having these guys in catering. Put them on a 3-hour show to where you can showcase some tag team wrestling and build some stories around them. We can't just keep focusing on the Bloodline, the New Day, Kevin and Sammy. We can't keep focusing on the same team, Street Profits. We can't keep focusing on them. We need to add more tag teams and get them on TV. So I feel like we should put Los Lotharios on Monday Night Raw and build these guys up. They can work in the ring. We've seen what Humberto can do when they were trying to build him by himself when Paul Heyman was taking over creative. And that was a long time ago. So let's put these guys on Monday Night Raw. Let's see what we can do with them in the tag team division. I feel like we got something there. What about you? Okay. Our next pick, we're gonna break up a team here. We have Butch, the formerly known as Pete Dunne, moving from SmackDown to Raw. Just because I feel like we need to have Pete Dunne back by himself. And can you imagine some of the matches he can have by himself in the singles capacity? And I feel like you can throw him right in a feud for Austin Theory, and he can show Austin Theory what the Bruiserweight is really about. So I will have Pete Dunne move from SmackDown to Raw, breaking up the Brawling Brutes. Have Pete Dunne go by himself, possibly compete for a mid-card title, and have a run with some matches with like a Chad Gable, like you mentioned earlier, or Austin Theory, Johnny Gargano. Just, showcase his talent. So I will have Butch move from Friday Night SmackDown to Monday Night Raw. What would you say?
Yeah, I agree. Get him on Monday Night Raw.
We have the Scottish Psychopath. We have Drew McIntyre moving from SmackDown back to Monday Night Raw. I'm letting my brother take over. And he had a little reason why. Go ahead.
With the World Heavyweight Title being announced on Monday Night Raw, I do think Drew McIntyre is moving brands here. I think he just needs a facelift. I mean, he lost to both main champions on SmackDown already with Gunther and Roman Reigns. And I do think he comes back as a heel. So we haven't seen him since WrestleMania. And plus, he's vying for a new contract. So that's more reason why I think he's going to be the new world champion. But I don't think he deserves a run as the world champion because he had the crappy COVID run. So that's my first pick of being the world heavyweight champion is Drew McIntyre as a heel on leading the Monday Night Raw brand. Then we can get him and Seth. I don't know if him and Seth really had a proper feud. I could be wrong there. No, they did when Drew was WWE champion. But this time roles will be reversed. Rollins is the babyface, Drew is the heel. So that's what I would do. Drew McIntyre to Monday Night Raw for me. Yeah. What say you?
I agree with you, brother. I'll have him move to Monday Night Raw just because, just like you said, that World Heavyweight Championship. I can see Drew as one of the many possibilities to get that title, and I think he'll be a great first world champion because he didn't get the true run that he was destined to get because of the pandemic. So I think he'll be a valuable champion. If not Seth Rollins, why not Drew? And then coming back as a heel, he ain't been a heel in a long time, so that'd be a good move. Next pick, the former SmackDown Women's Champion, Charlotte Flair, moving from SmackDown to Monday Night Raw. Charlotte has done literally everything she can on SmackDown. She hasn't been on Raw in a while since her and Becky had the title swap thing they did on SmackDown a couple years ago. And now we can finally get that Bianca versus Charlotte match that we wanted, and we can get a true program as opposed to having it on a Monday Night Raw. Charlotte can ultimately lose to Bianca since Bianca hasn't beaten Charlotte yet. She's beaten all the other 4 horsewomen, but she hasn't beaten Charlotte yet. And this potentially can have we could potentially see it at WrestleMania sometime next year. Maybe. We'll see. But I would have Charlotte move from SmackDown to Monday Night.
One thing I do hate about it is that we won't get the rematch with her and Rhea. I just felt like she just left abruptly. One thing I don't like about it, but I think she does need to switch brands.
Now, the next person that we have moving from SmackDown to Raw, because they ain't really doing too much with him, and they should be doing something with him. And he had a great promo last week on SmackDown with the tarot cards. Of course, I'm talking about Karrion Kross, and Charlotte comes with him, so they come as a package. But we know that Karrion Kross hasn't done too much since returning to WWE. He had a feud with Drew. He lost that feud. The strap match wasn't that good. I didn't watch the steel cage match. I think they had it in Saudi Arabia or something, right? If I'm correct, I didn't watch that match. Ultimately, ended up losing that feud. He beat Madcap Moss. I'm not sure if he beat Rey Mysterio, but the promo he cut last Friday was a good promo, a good start. So this is a facelift move that we need to make here and get him away from Roman Reigns, because I don't see him being in the title picture as long as Roman Reigns is there. So he's another person that we can see vying for that World Heavyweight Championship spot also, if built up correctly.
He could be a dark horse.
Yeah. So yeah. Go ahead, take over one thing. Go take over one, take over the way.
Well, I just was saying I think he can be a dark horse. I mean, he hasn't been built up the proper way. But that's what happens when you have one world champion and who the guy is a heel. Then you can't really get him in there with Gunther because Gunther's a heel, and they all on SmackDown. Those are the 2 best champions on the product currently, Gunther and Roman Reigns. And Karrion Kross is right behind him, so I would get Karrion Kross away from those guys by any means. And then maybe perhaps, with this new title, maybe he can, do some things. But we'll see. We'll see where it goes from there. Karrion Kross to Raw.
Yeah, I like the move from Karrion going to SmackDown to Raw. I like that move very much. Because he's on a 3-hour show, it gives him more exposure. He's one of the guys that they can expose as much on a 3-hour show format. So our next pick we have sister. I ain't gonna go there. Next pick we have Lacey Evans moving from SmackDown to Raw. Since they aired these vignettes all of last year, and she comes back and she's a heel. And mind you, the vignettes were babyface vignettes, telling about her upbringing and her father, like the parents and stuff, substance abuses, all that stuff. All the stuff that makes you want to go for or cheer for this person, but she ended up being a heel. Hasn't worked out quite well for her. Needs to be moved off SmackDown, put her on Raw, see what we have here, and this is like her fourth character change since she's been there. So we need to see what we can have with Lacey Evans. She needs to be moved from SmackDown to Raw. Nothing more, nothing less. You agree? Okay. Next up, we have Shinsuke Nakamura moving from SmackDown to Monday Night Raw. Now, this is a move that I've been talking about that should happen a long time ago. But Shinsuke just remained on SmackDown. And he just came back like 2 or 3 weeks ago. I don't remember who he fought. You probably do, but I didn't see it.
Madcap Moss.
Okay, he fought Madcap Moss, beat him. Now this is you can see where I'm going when it comes to like some of these moves. I can see Shinsuke feuding with Austin Theory. This is another person who can do something with Austin Theory in that mid-card title run, like the U.S. Championship. Another worker who can showcase and bring something out of Theory that we ain't seen yet. So Nakamura moves from SmackDown to Raw. He's moving over with Karrion Kross, so they're going to continue their feud. We don't know where it's going to lead. Possibly a match after Backlash, SummerSlamish, maybe. We'll see. But hopefully they starting to build something up with Shinsuke Nakamura, man. He hasn't been top tier since he won a Rumble, and that was in 2018. That's the last time he was literally a top guy, perceived as a top guy. So we're going to see what Triple H does with Shinsuke. Being yet another 3-hour show, you have more time to expose Shinsuke and see what you can do. So Shinsuke moves from SmackDown to Raw. And you still have the possibility with Red Bull. Something with Red Bulls. I'm pretty sure they're going to do something down the line. And next move I got is Tegan Nox moving from SmackDown to Monday Night Raw. We haven't seen Tegan Nox. She teamed up with Natalya maybe once, right? Or twice. She teamed up with Natalya. And then Natalya started teaming up with Shotzi or something. That led to them teaming up for Mania. So we haven't seen Tegan since then. But I will move Tegan from SmackDown to Raw. She was good at NXT. So she was even good in the tag team before she got released. So I would like to see her back in the tag team and vying for those tag team championships. This is the reason for our next pick. Shotzi moving from SmackDown to Raw. It's the same reason I'm moving Tegan there. So you can put her and Tegan back as a team. I think they had chemistry as a team before Tegan got released during the pandemic. And they still owe the number one. They still owe the championship match. They were the number one contenders when they were a team. They were supposed to face Natalya and Tamina, but Tegan had got released. So I feel like you should put them together as a team. What you say?
Yeah, especially if we're gonna have tag team titles. Keep them as a tag team. Just focus more on the mid card. Build a women's mid card up, and then we'll go from there.
I'm with you. Also, I think we had Xia Li moving from SmackDown to Raw. Now, I think Xia Li needs to get off of SmackDown because she's been there since she debuted. I don't see Triple H doing nothing with her. I like Xia Li. I think she's talented. Hopefully Triple H does something with her. I ain't talking about like being in a title scene per se, but just as another person that we know that can go in the ring. You can probably do something with her EO. You don't know, something. Have something for Xia Li. But we need to see Xia Li more. Like, we need to see her more on TV. We haven't seen her at all. So Xia Li moved from SmackDown to Raw. Another team that ain't really done nothing since they came back. It's been more of a flop since they came back. Is Hit Row. Now, I've heard people say that Hit Row should be moved from the main roster back to NXT. I'm not gonna go that far. I still think you can use Hit Row as another team, credible team in the tag team division. So I will move them from SmackDown to Raw, put them in the tag team scene, see what we got. We don't need Top Dollar trying to do suicide dives or anything over the top rope. We don't need to see that. Let him be like a big guy, do big guy moves, stuff like that. Let Ashanti the Adonis do all the high flying stuff. Fab be like the mouthpiece. They got something there. They're heel currently. They just need to be shown more on TV. Anything you want to add to that?
One thing. I mean, we've stated that a lot of people, a lot of talent, and a lot of tag teams seem like they just get used for squash matches. You know what I'm saying? One thing I think that we missing is that we need to give those talents squash matches as well. Get more enhancement talent in there on the show. One thing I liked about when Paul Heyman was running Monday Night Raw, I think before the COVID era, he would do a lot of enhancement matches. And one of my favorite things was the Eric Rowan enhancement matches and the Aleister Black enhancement matches. It made them, when they eventually fought one-on-one, I kind of felt like it was a big deal because winning does mean something. So the more the viewer sees you win, and the more they become reliable. I mean, I've been watching this stuff since I was little. So a casual viewer, if they click on every week and see you winning, they become more invested in you. Not necessarily saying you're going to be world champion or whatever, but the more you win, the more their attention draws to you. So I do think we need to get more enhancement matches for guys like Cedric and Shelton, or like Xia Li or Shotzi or Tegan Knox, just to get them on a winning track. So when they do get put in those matches against like a Raquel or something, you can be like, okay, maybe Raquel might be overlooking her and she's been on a roll. You know what I'm saying? And you can look at differently as a threat, not as just a stepping stone. I think that they should use the talent a little bit better that way. So I think there's one thing that Triple H need to adopt from the Paul Heyman regime, and I think in 2019. Yeah. I like personally.
I like that point you made. Very good point. And another thing with Paul Heyman, when he was running it, he tried to use a lot more new superstars. So you've seen a lot more Ricochets and Humberto, like I mentioned earlier, etc. You've seen like way more new superstars as opposed to the same ones. Like I remember the match with Ricochet and Samoa Joe at Stomping Grounds. Like most people don't remember that match. You know what I'm saying? That was just something new. But yeah, man, I agree with what you said. Now, another person that we had moving from SmackDown to Raw, we haven't seen her. It's been at least about the fall of last year, and that's former tag team champion with one of the current tag team champions, Raquel Rodriguez. I'm talking about Aaliyah, of course. We ain't seen her since her and Raquel lost the championships to Damage Control, and that had to be September. It had to be sometime before September, because Clash of the Castle was at September. So we haven't seen her since then. I heard she was injured, but we need to move her from SmackDown to Raw. She's yet another female that we can add to the women's division on Monday Night Raw. See what we have as a singles in her. Next team we have is the current team of Braun Strowman and Ricochet. I think moving them to Monday Night Raw bolsters the tag team division since the Street Profits will break up. And you can put them together with Los Lotharios, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, etc., right? So I think they should move Braun Strowman and Ricochet from SmackDown to Monday Night Raw.
I'll come back to this one. Okay. We'll do a tally of what we got as far as tag teams.
Okay. So for the tag team champions, the undisputed tag team champions, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens will both go to Monday Night Raw in this draft. If you want to keep them separated from the Usos in this final match coming up on Friday, we'll do so, and the match at Backlash will do so as well. When they have the 6-man with the Bloodline and Sami and KO, Matt Riddle taking on the Bloodline. So this will put that feud on ice for a minute. Even though Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn will have the ability to float from show to show because they are the undisputed tag team champions. One thing I want to say about them, and since we have Night of Champions coming up, May 27th, right? Yeah, May 27th. Everybody's predicting them to lose the championships. Necessarily, they don't have to be on the show necessarily. They can defend the championships a week or two before they go to Saudi Arabia because Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn don't perform in Saudi Arabia at all. So everybody's predicting them to lose the championships, and it can be like a transitional type of thing to whoever they lose it to, and they just win it back. I don't see that. They don't have to be on the show. So I think it's 50-50 them losing and 50-50 them keeping the titles. If it was me, I wouldn't have them on the show. Sorry, I think Saudi Arabia can do without a tag team championship match. You can insert anything in there. You can insert Usos, Matt Riddle, and a tag team partner or something. You can do something there. So I think with the rumors going around about Sammy and Kevin Owens losing championships, I don't think it's 100% guaranteed. But they stay on Monday Night Raw. Anything you want to add?
Yeah.
Okay. Who else on Monday Night Raw? We got. Obviously, we have Bianca Belair, who is the current Raw Women's Champion. She will not move. Her and Montez stay on Monday Night Raw, and we added some women to that division on Monday Night Raw that she can feud with. Currently, about to feud with Io. I think it's a little too early. I don't want her to beat Io. Time will tell. We'll see when it comes to Backlash if she beats her or not. I would like to see Io win that match, but I'm gonna keep my hands and my thoughts out of it. Now we're gonna go to the NXT portion. I'm gonna let my brother take over and talk about who we had moving from NXT to Monday Night Raw. So take it away, dog.
In no particular order. I do have some question marks. I don't know if they're gonna do these or not. I mean, these are just moves I would like to personally see. And some of them are like, okay, they are champions, but I think there's not much else for them down there to do. So going from NXT to Raw, I would put Alba Fire on Monday Night Raw. I know she's one half of the tag team champions, but other than that, I mean, she's already lost her opportunity at the women's championship down there. What else can she do? I mean, she can still bounce back, and defend the NXT titles. I mean, the New Day did the same thing. So, I mean, I would have her and Alba Fire come up. Her and Isla Dawn. I don't know what's going on with Apollo Crews, but I would have Apollo Crews come up from NXT back to Monday Night Raw. Braun Breaker. I think he's done everything he can do down at NXT. It's time to bring him up, put him on Monday Night Raw as well. Cameron Grimes. I mean, he's been in, a black hole since, I don't know, maybe October or September, maybe last summer. So get him off the NXT brand and put him on Monday Night Raw.
Austin Theory. So these matches, like these superstars moving from NXT or SmackDown to Raw, are designed to help Austin Theory in ring and give him more people to feud with. So it's adding to that mid card a little bit. Not much like the top tier, the top title. So I think you bolster this mid card by doing some of the moves we've made so far when it comes to moving some of the wrestlers from NXT and SmackDown to Raw. So I like the move so far. And Cameron Grimes, that's a no-brainer. Yeah, you definitely put him in that U.S. title match feud too. You're going to get a banger match with any of these guys we were putting in this U.S. title mid card. Go ahead.
Where am I? Oh, I would put Zoe Stark on Monday Night Raw. Indy Hartwell as well, because I do think she's losing the women's title on NXT. And then you still got her, and you got Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano and all those guys. Put them all on the same brand. Then you can add another tag team to the women's tag team. Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell. There you go. And one question mark, I don't know if this is going to happen. Cora Jade, move her to Monday Night Raw. I would. But I'm not sure if it's going to happen or not. I think she's still feuding down in the NXT. I would love to see her up on the main roster. Honorable mentions, if they didn't break up Toxic Attraction, I do think they would be up on the main roster at least by now, especially in the draft now. But you never know. Mandy Rose could come back. We don't know. We'll just have to see.
Okay, that's all your people.
Yeah, I got some. I got a couple. I don't say honorable mentions moving from NXT to SmackDown, but we already did that part, I think. So.
You had Pretty Deadly moving to Monday Night Raw as well.
No, I had him moving to SmackDown. Okay. But that's why I wanted to get a tally of the tag teams first before I even did anything. I did have Roxanne coming up to SmackDown. I did have that though.
Okay, you had Roxanne moving to SmackDown, and you had Pretty Deadly moving to SmackDown as well, right?
Yes, I had Ilya Dragunov. He goes wherever Gunther goes, Tyler Bate goes, Imperium goes, just because the main roster needs to get equipped to him. So he definitely needs to work with the guys he's comfortable with working with at first. That's what I would do. A sleeper, JD McDonough. I would love to see him up on the main roster. That's a sleeper for me. I like JD McDonough. He's pretty nice. I don't think he's NXT championship material, but world champion at least. But I'd like to see him come up. And I did throw a monkey wrench at you today, but that's why I wanted to get a tally of the tag teams. Let's get a tally of the tag teams first before I mention this last one from NXT.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I mean I don't know. So we moved what? So okay, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. So the LWO is still on SmackDown, correct?
Yeah.
The Viking Raiders, Imperium, the Usos. Help me out here. New Day.
Yep.
I think that's it for SmackDown, correct? Mm-hmm. Am I wrong?
No, that's it right now.
Oh, you had the Judgment Day. The Judgment Day.
Yeah, I moved Judgment Day. I moved Cedric and
Cedric.
Shelton.
Okay.
And yeah, that's it. And I broke up the Street Profits.
Okay. So that's 7. That's 7 teams. So Monday Night Raw we had Alpha Academy.
Yep.
Braun Strowman them.
Yep.
I mean, I guess DIY technically, right? Mm-hmm. Did you put the Creeds on Monday Night Raw?
Put them on SmackDown.
Oh, that's 8 teams. Or did I count them? I didn't count them. Yeah, I didn't count them. Okay, so that's 8. You see, got the Good Brothers on Monday Night Raw. Yep. Okay, 4. Yeah. So you got. I mean, I don't know if Rick Boogs and Nakamura gonna count as a team, but I'm not sure yet.
You got to count. Yeah, you probably count him and Elias will probably be a team sooner or later. So that's probably a team.
I guess. All right. I guess you can. That's a wiggle 5 for me. That's a wiggle. So we got 8 to 5. 8 to 5.
Yeah. Then we have moved Pretty Deadly to Raw. That's why we moved them.
So okay. Pretty Deadly. Okay, so that's what's 6. So these guys just asked for the release, but grizzled young veterans, get them away from the schism, get them back to being themselves, and put them on the main roster. Time to look at.
Okay, I can see that.
To bolster up the tag team division. You never know. Oh, I did want to add one thing though. What we have? Chelsea Green moved to where? SmackDown. Uh, is Cody on Raw or SmackDown?
Cody's on Raw.
Okay. Only reason why I disagree with that one is because I do think Cardona is coming in, and I do think he's going to be on the same roster as his buddy Cody, and his wife Chelsea is going to be on the same roster. So I do think she stays on Raw, and then in turn that gets, you said Sonya, right? Is there a partner? Then you get Sonya back on Raw. I could be wrong, but I could see that. Only reason.
Okay.
I think I'm good.
I think we're pretty good. I mean, most of these picks balanced out the mid card for the most part and bolstered some of the top card. So like people like AJ Styles and stuff like that, they remain where they are. Edge remains where he's. Bray Wyatt remains where he is. Bobby Lashley remains where he is. So we just bolstered out and split up some of the teams. Brock is gonna go wherever he's going to go. No matter where they draft him, he's gonna show up where Brock Lesnar want to show up. Brock don't count. But yeah, I think this is a pretty even draft for the most part. Some good additions from NXT. Some people moving from mediocrity to possibly doing something good. So we'll see. Time will tell. And that is our predictions for upcoming WWE draft. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe down below. Also, man, you got to comment and let us know what you think of the draft coming up. This is a chance for WWE to do something good. I always say this every time the draft runs around.
Yeah.
This should, I think, is something like you can do creatively to where you can use superstars better than what they were before the draft. Like, it's an opportunity to do something like that. We'll see. Last notes, bro.
I'm just super excited. Hopefully Vince doesn't get his grubby hands on it and mess it up. That's Triple H's truck, so we'll see.
I agree. But yeah, man. We'll see you guys in the next video. Hope you enjoy the draft. We out.